Welcome everybody, and let's discuss this very common question which almost everybody has, that what basically is a framework and what are the tools like JUnit, TestNG, Ant, Maven, Jenkins, Git. Fine. Now to tell you about this, let me just take up a very simple example with you. That is, suppose there is a client who comes to you and tells you that he has got 2000 manual test cases and he wants to automate them, and he wants to automate them in both the major browsers like Mozilla, Chrome, or in the other browsers as well like Edge or Safari. Fine. And he says that out of these 2000 test cases, suppose 400 test cases are smoke test cases. So he might have the requirement that he just wants to execute those 400 smoke test cases, and he wants to skip those 1600 other test cases. So your script should be, or your code should be smart enough to optionally run the test cases. Now once the test cases are over, once they are executed, you would want to rerun the failed test cases. The client might tell you that fine, go and run only the failed test cases. Right. And you should be able to run the test cases parallelly as well in order to save time. So these can be some of the basic requirements from any client. Moreover, apart from this, you would also want to generate some HTML reports to be shown to the client, and these reports should have the screenshots and all embedded in them, and they should have the logs. For example, this is a sample HTML report over here, in which I have got logs for every step which is done, and probably if some step failed in between, you can put the log for that as well. Right. So you have to generate these kinds of reports. This is extend report. Fine. Along with it, you would want to read the data in your test cases from some external files like Excel, JSON, YML, or a database or a properties file. Then you should be able to integrate your complete project with Jenkins or Git. What is Jenkins? What is Git? I will tell you that in next 5 minutes. But yes, these are some important tools with which you have to integrate your particular project. And moreover, you should be able to integrate it with Selenium Grid. Grid is for parallel running of the test cases, and with other tools like Maven, Ant, which I am going to tell you in some time. So you have to integrate your code along with all these tools. Right. If you talk about Selenium, then Selenium scripts and commands are simple commands which will only interact with the browser. Selenium has got no capability to generate reports. Selenium has got no capability to read data from Excel file or even implement test cases. Selenium as a tool has just got commands which will only help you interact or fire commands on the browser. That's it. If you want to open a browser, click on a browser somewhere on any element on the browser, then Selenium helps us a lot. Right. So to integrate all these things together, to facilitate all these things, we use a centralized controller in between. This centralized controller can be TestNG, or it can be people use JUnit, or BDD frameworks like Cucumber BDD is also required. Okay, what this centralized controller does, it helps you build test cases. It helps you optionally run the test cases, rerun the failed test cases and all. Okay, and it will call the scripts. Okay, it will call the Selenium scripts one by one as per the requirements. Okay, and you can run the scripts on the desired browsers and all. Moreover, it will help you generate some HTML reports as well when the scripts are running, and it will read the data. This is important. It will read the data from some external source. This can be any kind of file, and it will pass the data over to the scripts. When the scripts are running, they can get the data from an external file with the help of this centralized framework like TestNG or JUnit or Cucumber. Fine. And moreover, it helps you to integrate with Jenkins, GitHub, Maven, Ant, which we are going to just see in some time. Right. So this is the overall structure. This complete overall structure is known as a framework. Okay, it's an end-to-end project, and there are different types of frameworks like data-driven, keyword-driven, hybrid, page object model, Cucumber. So there are different ways or different techniques with which you can implement this particular scenario. Fine. Now if you move ahead and if you talk about Maven, fine. Let me tell you about Maven right now. That suppose you have got three team members A, B, and C, and all of them they work on a project, Selenium project. A is using the version Selenium 4 on his machine, B uses 3.1, and C uses 3.2. Now this is a problem. Suppose there are 300 test cases. A decides to automate 100, B decides to automate 100, and C decides to automate 100. So each of them is not knowing that every team member is working on a different version. When they are ready with their test cases and when they merge their code, they will face a problem. That is why we use the Maven tool. Maven is configured in every team member's machine. We go and download Maven and configure it in every team member's machine, and in Maven we have a file known as pom.xml. This is basically a configurational file. Fine. Suppose you have I'll show you this one. This is a sample pom.xml file. It's a configurational file in which basically you write down all the versions of dependencies which you are going to use in your project. For example, I will be using Selenium Java version 3.14 in the project. Okay, although we have Selenium 4 in the market, this file is quite old, but just understand the concept that every dependency which you are going to use, you can mention the version of that particular dependency in this file. For example, testng version 3.1.2, sorry, 6.10 I am using, or Selenium version 3.14 I am using. So in this particular file, which is pom.xml, we keep all the dependencies. Fine. This will have, suppose Selenium version 4 is required for the project. We will write down an XML file, and then we will give this XML file to all the team members. So all the team members will have same pom.xml on their machines. Maven is going to read this pom.xml. It will read pom.xml. Maven will understand that fine, project is dependent on Selenium version 4, and Maven will connect to central Maven repositories. These are the repositories on the internet where all the jars and the dependencies are already present. Fine. Maven connects to these repositories and downloads the same jars which are mentioned in pom.xml, the same dependencies. It downloads on the particular machine. So all the team members this way will get the same version of Selenium jar from the centralized repository. So every team member will be working with same version. This is the major advantage of Maven. Okay, another advantage of Maven is that it will help you to run your project through command prompt. Okay, like for example, at times you have a Unix shell. You have to execute your scripts on Unix shell. So Eclipse will not execute that for you. Alright. Or you have to execute your scripts through command prompt. So in this case, Maven helps you. Okay, so Maven, it can help you build and run the scripts on command prompt. Plus, it can make sure that all the team members have the same versions of the dependencies in their machines or in their projects. Right. There is one more tool known as Ant. Okay. Ant is just a build tool. It will just help you build and run the scripts on a shell or a command prompt. It does the same thing like Maven. Fine, it helps you build and run the scripts on the shell, but it won't help you in version or something. Alright, so these are the two tools which we use a lot with Selenium. Right, now people also have a question that what is Git, GitHub or Jenkins. Most of you must be knowing what Git is. Git is a central repository. Okay, suppose what happens is, I'll talk about both Jenkins as well as Git. Suppose I have got 3 team members. Okay, this is A, this is B, and this is C. So what we do when we work in a team, we keep the code at a central location. This central location is Git. It's very famous these days. So that any new team member joins in, he can easily download the code from that particular location. But there are problems in this. Suppose I have the code lying over here, and the team member A, he gets the code on his machine. Along with it, B also gets the code on his machine. A is not knowing that B is changing the code, and B is not knowing that A is changing the code. Okay, now what A does is that he changes the code. Everything is okay on his machine. Fine. And he says that fine, since everything is working okay on my machine, let me put back the code onto Git. So he puts back the code on the Git, and everything is okay on the Git as well. But now what happens is that B changes the code, everything is okay on his machine, but he's not knowing that A has already changed the code over here. Maybe A has added one file, or maybe A has deleted some file. So what happens is that when B puts the code back onto Git, there is a compilation error or something, whatever happens. And the worst part is nobody comes to know about it. Maybe there is a weekend, maybe there is a long weekend, and everybody comes back on Monday or Tuesday, and then by the afternoon C notices that something is wrong with the code on the Git, and then the blame game starts and all. So this creates a problem. Okay, and especially when say 50 to 100 people are collaborating on the same project. Alright, that is why, that's the major reason why we use Jenkins. This was the particular major reason of using Jenkins. What Jenkins does, Jenkins will constantly be in touch with Git. As soon as any team member puts the code on Git, as soon as somebody puts the code on Git, Jenkins will compile the code or run the code or build the code, right? And if anything goes wrong, if any error is there or whatever, it will inform every team member via email. So it's like a listener, it's like an observer, Jenkins. Right, if something goes wrong on Git, it will immediately inform the team members via email that something is wrong and that can be corrected. Okay, so that's what Jenkins is used for, right? And it's basically an observer. So this was our major objective of this particular presentation, that is to learn about what a framework is. I told you it's like a collaboration of lot of things: JUnit, TestNG, and Maven, Jenkins, Git. All right, thank you.